I'm not trying to like find anti-Jewish stuff. Like I'm trying to understand the Bible, and clearly, like Poimenes is a very weird word for me. Apparently, it only occurs 18 times, and it's a shepherd, but like in different variations, it occurs 18 times. So it really doesn't occur that much. I guess this is talking about the New Testament. It's not including the Septuagint, which like is where I'm finding Poimenes without probaton. Like every time I'm finding Poimenes, like in the Bible, I'm finding it with probaton. Like, and we have to ask ourselves, like, why is the Greek language everyone's worst nightmare if they actually spoke it? Because like everyone talks about sheep all the time, and every time they talk about sheep, they have to talk about probaton. But there's another word for sheep, and I think that clearly, like, there's a reason we can't understand ancient Greek. It's because the language was changed and the punctuation was changed. But does that mean that a poimen or poimene, whatever, like, it's weird that it's the word to shepherd. Because I thought it was like a form of can in the Old Testament Septuagint. Before I talk about that, though, I want to point out, like, this is what the Old Testament or the New Testament manuscripts look like. There's no punctuation. Like, there are dots to stop it. Like, that's a period, the dot in the middle, but it's not. It's supposedly, it's like, they say it's a colon, but, like, I've always thought of that as, I always think, like, anything's a period in Greek. You see right above my head, it says the word kai, which is and. And I think that a lot of the time you have to decide, like, and is the beginning of a sentence. Because it says kaikata, like but it might be kaikata, like, and we're kind of reaching that point with it where we're going, okay, how can I read this? Because what we're trying to find out is right above my head, Iuda poimenos u me ana pasantai in ate. Like, we're trying to figure out, like, if the Bible's talking about Judah, which is how you'd say Judah, because there's no J, and the Jewish people figured out how to hide like what the Bible says that much by like changing the Greek language, and that's why it's a dead language. So I found the use of probaton and poimena, like variations of poimenes. Remember, is the poimenes because it's a verb, like it's the act of something. But a poimena would be a shepherd, like a verb turned into a shepherd, which makes sense from the Arabic perspective that whatever is poimenes like would be a poimena. But probata is a really weird one, and like this, I think this is from First Peter. But like, let's go see John, because John's where we're really seeing like probata and poimena, and I think John's the book that we actually trust, right? I think this is where you really have to figure out like what are they talking about with this poimen and poimen here is the shepherd. When the other one was, what was it, Poimenes from, I don't know, but he's the good shepherd, and the shepherd, so he says, I am the good poimen, whatever that is, the poimen, the good shepherd of the soul, ten suke atu, I think it says like ten suke atu, his good soul, Tithes, like, I guess it would be to lay down. Like, I don't know, lay down. I'm still learning Greek again. Apoton, probaton. So I don't know what lay down for sure though. So for me, I think like it could be like something for the probaton, and then ho would be continuing the sentence, misthotos de, and then the next sentence would be kai, and not on poimen, which they're saying is shepherd, which leads us to lukon, which I don't know the word at all, and it's for wolf. And yeah, apparently they have an easier word for wolf than they do for sheep. See, it's weird because like when you look at this punctuation right here, fuege, like I think that's a period, and like instead it has a comma which continues, but like clearly they say it's a colon. So I think that it says like whatever, and the misthotos flees, and then that would be the end of the sentence right there. And I think that's like what we're having problems with, is the end of sentences. And I didn't realize that that was the problem in the Bible until like this morning, or maybe yesterday. I don't know, this morning probably. So what I've concluded is that one of the reasons Greek is so hard is because they combine so many different languages, like for, which can be before, like pro, and then ba would be sheep, and then ta is two. But then they're saying that's a sheep. And like, I think that right here, like right next to my head, like there's a period next to sheep, and it shouldn't be there. Like I lay down my life for the sheep and the other sheep. Kai ala probata. And then the next one should be echo, like I have, which not are of this fold, those who, yeah. So like that's another problem with the period there on the English side. Clearly I don't have the translation off to the left, so like it could be different, like with the way that they're translating it. But like I do think that those periods are like making this very difficult to understand. So I'm going to go to a different verse and we'll see another instance of poimen, because we're trying to figure out if it's a shepherd. So right next to my head it says taprobata ato akulute, which is the sheep of him follow because they know his voice. They know the voice of him. So just a side note, fuezantai, like do you know what fuego is in Spanish? To flee. So the Poimenes were who came to Izus like when he was a baby, just to mention, and the shepherds were in the country. So like, who are the Poimenes at this point? Like that is the exact word that we saw before when they were using Poimenes, right? So protatakon is firstborn, which sounds like probaton, but it's not clearly, but like it's that similar. I think people could notice the difference. Like, but the big thing we're looking at is like, we're trying to figure out Poimenes, right? Because we're trying to figure out the shepherds. Because it says, Kai Poimenes esan in te cora te ate agpaluntes. So like in the cora te ate is like in their cora, but we don't know what cora is, because cora is country. But when it says living in the fields, agapo paluntes, agapo is to love. Like I looked it up a lot. There's agapatos, which is to love, and like variations of agap, which I've talked about a lot. So I know I'm going like way out of here, but like agapaluntes for me, like it feels like leave. So in this passage, he calls Yudian, like, but like clearly like that's Greek when it's adding en to the end, so it would be Yuda. I'm talking about like right above my head, Judea, Yuda, en. But he spells it wrong too. He spells it different, but it's still that's silent. It's important to understand that the Bible that we have is not the same as the Bible that was written. Like the Bible that was written is what's right above me, and I can't access those manuscripts. Like it's crazy that I can't just go online and see pictures of like every single verse in the Greek. Like it's like baffling to me that I can't just go through the documents. Like all you have to do is take a picture of it. That's why like the Pope's like, I'm for transsexuals in the church now. I'm not releasing like every single document I have. Just like take a picture of every single document and give it to him. Good for you that you're that way. But like all I'm saying is like when you say kailege and you're seeing like that as a period, and like you're not seeing any periods, like I don't know why they're underlining things like ka, HT right there, which I just found out an H is a letter that I don't know the uppercase letters, and I need to know all the uppercase letters better, but I'm always reading undercase or lowercase, and I think it's important to like be able to read uppercase, so like Greek, and like I'm saying is like it's clear that like apocryph, like right next to my head, it probably has something to do with violence, like it's clear in my head that like those things can run together, but they're using dots as periods, like that are right in the middle. And that's, according to the internet, that's not a period, that's a comma.